Good evening, Dolphins fans. We are back not for the first time, not for the second time, but for the third time of the day because the Dolphins have made another signing. This time it is cornerback Perry Nickerson set to join the Dolphins organization, first reported by, I think it was Aaron Wilson and Nick Underhill, like a minute apart from each other, but the Dolphins continue to make moves, so screw going home and see our families. We'll do another video for you guys. That's what we do. When news happens, we have you guys covered. The Dolphins have been shuffling that back end of the roster, so we'll keep doing videos on it. The former Tulane product, Perry Nickerson, now joining the Dolphins. If you haven't already, now is the time of the year to subscribe. New host coming for you guys shortly. I'll still be here to give you guys the daily videos. Until then, we are getting closer and closer to 43K subscribers. How many other Dolphins channels out there are doing 3 videos in a day for you? I don't think very many. Hit that sub button right now. Let's go in-depth on the second signing of the day. Remember, Deshaun Hand signed earlier this afternoon. Perry Nickerson, a corner I once really liked coming out of Tulane, has been a journeyman who is likely another option at the nickel cornerback spot. He's really bounced around his time in the NFL. This is a true bottom of the roster shuffling. I have my suspicions here that this is predominantly to get through at least the first preseason game. This is more depth for the Miami Dolphins. I'd be a little bit surprised, if not concerned, if Nickerson made the 53-man roster for the Dolphins. I doubt he makes it there. I don't think he's the caliber of player relative to what the Dolphins have elsewhere on the roster, but there are some minor injury concerns and maybe more than minor at this point, stuff going on there. I will make that, I'm like 95% sure of this. With the signing and the release of the defense lineman earlier today, I believe another move still needs to be made for Miami to open up a roster spot for Perry Nickerson. So that'll have to be done before Nickerson can be officially signed. Maybe it'll be late tonight. Maybe more likely it'll be in tomorrow. Some minor player gets cut, or they could always injure somebody or put someone on IR to end their season if they are still banged up there. So we'll see what else happens at corner. I would assume corner here, but another move does have to be made to make room for Nickerson on the 90-man roster. So do you guys like the Perry Nickerson signing? Y for yes, N for no. If you go, who's that? Well, we'll explain that here in a little bit. But you guys can vote at the pinned comment of today's video. It's Y for yes, N for no. If the ad comes, get down there and go vote. In the end, I'm fine with this. I have no complaints, and I very rarely will, when you're making these back end of the roster moves. Guys that are like player number 80, number 85 on your roster who, in theory, aren't going to make your team, but you're shuffling things out at the bottom to get through some preseason games, get through camp practices, or see if somebody else can show a little bit more than what the other guys at the bottom of your squad have done. Now, Nickerson has played 25 career games with a variety of NFL teams with very little to show for it, quite frankly. 25 games played, 28 tackles, the 1 pass breakup, most notably with the Jets. That's where he began his career as a 6th-round pick, I believe, out of Tulane, but has really bounced around since then. On to my theories here, with what I think is going on with the Dolphins cornerback room. You can do the math here. There are 15 corners on the Dolphins roster right now. It is an unbelievable amount, and I guess we will have to make this a CB5 depth chart in the future, Chris, which we've never done before, I believe, in the history of chat sports, of having all 5 spots with 3 depth charts of rows available filled out. Jalen Ramsey's out till December, right? And I'm thinking ahead to the first preseason game on Friday, which we'll be live for, by the way. You're not going to play Xavien Howard. I highly doubt you'll play Kader Kohou. If you do play guys like Cam Smith, Noah Igbenogany, it's not going to be for the entire game. It'll be for maybe a half, more likely a quarter in that range. Nick Needham is still on the PUP list. Keon Crossan and Ethan Bonner both missed practice yesterday. Crossan's missed some time. He had compression sleeves on his legs, both undisclosed injuries. But all of a sudden, you take out 4 corners to injury. You're not going to play Xavien Howard. You're not going to play Kader Kohou. We'll see how much you play Cam Smith, Igbenogany. Trey Williams is not quite all the way back either. Now it's Justin Bethel, a special teamer, maybe some Eli Apple, Igbenogany, Ellis. Thompson, Mark Gilbert, their addition, and you're actually a bit more thin to get by for the next week than maybe initially realized. Then plus the potential injuries to Crossan and Bonner. We'll see if there's anything severe on that front there, but it's been pretty quiet. It's just been missing some time there. So the depth that is numerous is a little bit banged up at this moment. So I want you guys now to rate the Dolphins cornerback room on a scale of 1 to 10. It's 1 on the high end and 10 on the low end. Breaking down more now on Perry Nickerson, his career so far. 6th-round pick out of Tulane by the New York Jets. Lasted a year. Spent 2019 with the Seahawks and the Jags. 2020 in Green Bay. Then the last 2 years as a member of the Minnesota Vikings, where he's been predominantly a practice squad player. Not exactly the highest end impact guy in terms of what he's been so far in his NFL career. I did like Perry Nickerson coming out. I'm looking at my, again, 2018 draft notes, same class as the Deshaun Hand class, as it turned out today. I had him 110 overall on my board. I had a 4th round grade. I really like Perry Nickerson. I had 2 kind of like outlier takes in that class. Was that I really liked Nickerson, and I really like J.C. Jackson. And I had both of those guys kind of right by each other. I was right on, this is kind of a trend, right on one, wrong on the other. I was right on J.C. Jackson, wrong on Perry Nickerson. Jackson had offensive, that's why he fell. And then I had 2 guys who went way earlier that I was much lower on than everybody else. Duke Dawson, count it. He's been bad. Deontay Jackson, I was wrong on that one. So 50-50, we'll call it there. Too high on Perry Nickerson. Not high enough on J.C. Jackson, I guess. And then Duke Dawson, Deontay Jackson, I didn't like. My hot take was that I think Nickerson is... My hot takes were J.C. Jackson would be better than Duke Dawson. Patriots got them both. I was right. And that Nickerson would be better than Deontay Jackson. And I was very, very wrong on that one. I also like DJ Reed, which has turned out pretty well from that. So just look at my notes from a couple years ago here. There were 3 other workouts, by the way, that went down today at the cornerback spot. We mentioned Corn Elder earlier today. That was the one that we heard of first. Leonard Johnson also got a workout. And former Dolphin Jamal Perry got a chance to work out with the club earlier today. So those 3 players obviously did not sign. Dolphins looking for 1 corner option. They found that clearly with the addition of Perry Nickerson. Again, I doubt he makes the team. We'll wait and see on that front, but Nickerson gets the nod over Elder, Johnson, and a potential reunion with Jamal Perry on the back end of this Dolphins defensive back group.